at 54, the new Chex Daily. We're talking minimum wage, and quite a conversation going on our Twitter feed right now, Mike.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Should we or shouldn't we raise it? So let's do a little introduction quick. Paul Brown, you're from Peterborough Workers Action Centre.
That's right. Yep.
We have Heather Zischler, and Heather, you're currently making $10.75 an hour. Stu Harrison from Peterborough Chamber of Commerce, and you know who we are. So, but Paul, let's start with you because you have a meeting. You started this campaign about a year ago. You're meeting on the 14th of the month, and it's a provincial campaign to raise the minimum wage from $10.25 an hour to $14 an hour. Why so much? Why start so high, Paul?
Well, first of all, there hasn't been an increase to the minimum wage in almost 4 years. And at the current rate of $10.25 an hour, a worker making that wage is 19% below the low income measure or the poverty line. So the idea of getting the workers up to $14 an hour would actually put them 10% above the poverty line. And we're in agreement with some things with the Chamber, like on indexation going forward. We've got to land on a number that will bring workers out of poverty and then on an ongoing basis review the wage and make adjustments accordingly.
Now, Stu, is this something that you would view as being even possible, feasible for Peterborough to have that kind of minimum wage?
I think that we're in agreement, as Paul has said, in the need for change. I think it was a huge mistake for the government to not increase it for the last 4 years. It's got to be tied to something. Our recommendation is to tie it to an economic indicator like the Consumer Price Index. As it rises, then minimum wage rises. It's fair to everybody. It's transparent. It's predictable, which is what business likes. $14 an hour. That's definitely a high number. And I've talked to some people about what would happen, and it ain't pretty. As Andrew was pointing out, it would cost some jobs. I talked to a Tim Hortons owner today. They're often painted as the big bad business, you know, and an example of what could happen. But the Tim Hortons owner that I talked to today pays 200,000 hours per year. So $1 an hour is $200,000. $4 an hour, taking him to $14 an hour, is an $800,000 expenditure, and his payroll is already over $2 million a year. $800,000 is a ton of money. He couldn't afford it. So his reaction is exactly what Andrew said, and that is that he would just employ fewer people less often.
So let's look at the face. Let's look at Heather's face, the girl who's making the money, and that brings. I mean, I feel like this is an argument that we're not going to solve definitely tonight. That's for sure, because there is the employee's perspective, but then there's the employee's perspective. And Heather, your case is interesting because you came back into the workforce after making. What were you making before you left?
Oh, about $15.
About 15, and now you're down to $10.75 an hour. Married, children. So how is it for you? And do you see the other side of the coin from an employer's perspective?
I do, but still, at the end of the day, I still want to have a little bit of extra money in my paycheck too, to be able to go out and do stuff. But right now, basically, it's just going to pay bills. There's nothing left over, and it has to change. And I don't know what the end point is going to be on that, but something has to be done. 4 years is a long time between increases.
Would you rather work more and be paid less, or work less and be paid more?
Well, there's a great question.
Yeah.
Because I think from an employer's perspective, that's often what it would come down to. Would it, Stu, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're told, exactly how that happens. And it's the problem with legislating this stuff, is you can't legislate a business you can legislate it to pay, but you can't legislate it to raise its prices. So, you know, where does that $800,000 come from for Tim Hortons? He's got to make some tough decisions, and it's likely going to be fewer staff, making compromises here and there. You know, everybody paints the picture as this, you know, the fat cat business person. This guy is paying taxes. He's probably paying a loan for his franchise fees. He's employing a whole bunch of people, paying $2 million in wages. He's contributing to charity. He's employing your kids, in some cases your parents. So I have total sympathy with what Heather is saying. She's absolutely right. It would be nice, but it's really hard to legislate it. Minimum wage, absolutely. Make it fair, transparent, consistent, absolutely. It's just making that jump. I just think it's too much. I think it would have dramatic consequences.
Now, Paul, a lot of people online, we've had a bunch of people arguing on Twitter, as usual, that's what it's for, making the suggestion, you know what, maybe it's not minimum wage that needs to be raised, maybe it's taxes that need to be cut. Well, would that help in any way? Maybe raise the minimum wage a little bit and then sort of focusing on taxes?
Well, maybe for the true small business owner, there could be some definite changes to give them some relief on taxes. But fully, almost 50% of minimum wage workers in Ontario work for corporations with 500 or more employees. So they definitely do have the capacity to pay more. There would also be a stimulative effect to raising the minimum wage to $14 an hour. It would actually add $5.1 billion to the Ontario economy annually. And these folks will put that money right back into the economy almost instantly. They're not going to be stashing excess into Cayman Island bank accounts. It'll end up right back in the economy locally and would be a boon to many small businesses.
Okay, well, thank you very much for everyone to come in today.
Yeah, thank you so much. This debate will continue. We'll put some contact information on our Facebook and Twitter page.
Well, you guys are asking everyone to call our MPP as well as the Premier, and we're going to post those phone numbers on Facebook and Twitter for all of you. Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much for everyone coming in today, and Check
you.
News Watch at 6 starts right now.